Hey babies, it's Thursday morning. Here is chapter 3 of Ida B. Ida B. This is how Mama and Daddy and anybody who knows me particularly well say my name. My name's Ida B, and even though our names are near to identical, my daddy says them real different. Most of the time when Daddy says Ida B, it's fast and it's smiling and goes up and down real quick, like tapping your feet to some happy music. But when he says Ida, that name stretches on and on with no rough edges or sharp turns. Ida, he says, and his breath travels around the room, slips across Mama's shoulders, then her waist, and it keeps going out and about so that everybody gets wrapped in its warm softness. You can still hear it in your head after the sound has stopped, and you're smiling just because somebody said the word Ida, which isn't even the prettiest name in the world. The only time I'm anything other than Ida B at home is if I'm in trouble. If that's the case, and it has occurred on an occasion or two, and my folks are yelling for me, it's Ida B Applewood. All the words are broken up like they're getting hammered out. Ida B Applewood. Where are you? You come on home. I bet your parents do that too. Use your full name and break it up so that it sounds a little more menacing. Then, wherever I am, sitting in the old tree up on the mountain or building a dam in the brook, I'll say, well, that's me. Guess I'll get going. If I'm in the orchard, the older apple trees will tell me, you'd better get a move on, Ida B, or go on now and see what your daddy wants. But the brook always whines and wheedles. Don't go, Ida B, don't go. Nobody's calling and they can wait. Anyway, stay, Ida B, stay and play. I don't get in trouble for too much. Most of the time, it's just little things. It was my turn to put the dishes away and I forgot, or I fed the leftover succotash to the poor and starving wild animals in the neighborhood. Once, I made a house for Lulu out of a whole bunch of books and boxes. I started in the middle of the living room with the biggest box for Lulu's private quarters. It had a whisk for a TV antenna and a cushion from the sofa for a bed, and I cut out windows with the big sharp knife. I built a library, a playroom, and a dining room with some of the other boxes. I made apartments under the chairs and tables with sheets and blankets covering them up like tents so all of her friends that she might have someday when she improves her attitude could come and visit. It got so big it took up almost the whole living room and was spilling into the hallway. And Lulu was so pleased she almost purred. But then Lulu got bored and went outside and I went with her. And pretty soon I heard Ida B Applewood down by the brook. So I got on home and put everything away. But it was a sad thing to have to close up the Lulu and her someday friend's big city high-rise and exotic resort. Another time, I caused a stir and Mama and Daddy got upset, but not too mad, was when I invented the soap mask. Now, you probably know that for every world-famous, history-changing invention ever created, first there was a problem that needed to be solved. That's true. For every invention, there's a problem. Otherwise, why would you need to invent it? My problem was this: too much washing up of my face in particular. When I got up in the morning, I'd have to wash my face and hands, and before I could eat my supper or go to the store or go visiting, I'd have to wash them again. It seemed like just about every time I'd get excited and want to go on with life, I'd have to stop and wash up. And by the time I was done with it, who knows what opportunities had passed me by. So I was thinking I would save a lot of time and energy if I could figure out a way to keep my face clean. And the soap mask is what I came up with. An impenetrable wall of disinfectant for your face. A shield that repels germs while it gently cleanses your pores, leaving a spanking clean exterior. Eternal, perpetual, ultimate cleanliness. That's what the advertisements would say, I was thinking, when I put it on the market and sold 10 million of them. Bar soap, I knew, would not work for the project. First off, if you wet it and slather it on, it's white and foamy and would just look silly. Plus, I didn't think it would be strong enough. I wanted a powerful solution. Now, here's what's great about dish soap. It spreads around real well, but it also sticks in one place. It will dry if it's left out on the air for a while. It is very strong. It is antibacterial. Perfect. After supper one night, I took a bottle of our best dishwashing liquid to the upstairs bathroom. closed the door, and smeared a thin layer of the stuff all over my face. Then I sat in my room and felt the liquid slowly drying, getting tighter and tighter, joining with my skin so that my entire face was being transformed into a grime repellent. And I left that soap on all night, so its dirt and disease-killing properties had time to really settle in. Oh, Lord, what's going to happen to this child while she's sleeping with dish soap stuck to her face all night? In the morning, my face looked scrubbed, like I'd washed it with steel wool. It was red and shiny and kind of pinched looking. It itched and burned something close to fierce. But I just chalked that up to the mask's potent power. I went to the table for breakfast and smiled real big every time I said, "Please pass the milk," or "Please pass the napkin." And I waited for Mama and Daddy to notice my gleam. Finally, after I'd asked for the milk twice when I didn't need it, there were Mama and Daddy both staring at me with their mouths wide open. And I was sure it was because of their awe and amazement at my bright sparkliness. "Evan, do you see that?" Mama said. "She's turning bright red and then white, red and white, like a neon sign." "I see it, Ida." "I see it, Ida," Daddy said back. Then everything happened so fast, I didn't have a chance to get a word out. Mama said, something about scarlet fever. Daddy said something else about mumps or chicken pox. Mama was calling the doctor. Daddy was wrapping me up in a blanket and putting me in the truck. Next thing, we were all driving into town, and they were so quiet and tense it just seemed like it was not a good time to speak, let alone talk about my groundbreaking, earth-shattering invention. Well, we got in to see the doctor pretty quick. She looked over just about every part of me and then asked me, "Ida B, did you do something to your face?" So I told her about the soap mask. She listened real closely, and then she said, "Ida B, your skin's turning colors, and you're feeling like your face is on fire because the dish soap has irritated it. So we're going to rinse it off.